I have to look at it when I get home because I can't read with these contacts in. I can drive with them, but I can't read with them. That's terrifying.
That seems unfortunate.
I can see the speedometer and road signs.
I mean, that's important.
Yeah, it's just the in between. I think I need trifocals.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see my t-shirt?
I love it. Heavy on the fuck racism.
Yeah. It's Mahogany Mommies. I looked at all of their t-shirts because I was like, this is fantastic. But some things aren't for me as a consumer. So I was trying to be very selective in what I wanted to support them with, because I don't want to like grab a t-shirt that's like, strong Black woman.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
So we've talked about shopping before, but my latest. So I love your shirt. I don't have a lot of shirts that have like a lot of political stuff on them because I buy the things like I have one that's on the way now that apparently is coming from like Russia or something and will be here in 6 months. But it's got a little animation character on it and it says, "Oh, we're halfway there." And then it says, "Oh, lemon on a pear." And it's got a lemon on a pear. The pear's giving the lemon a piggyback ride.
I love it.
So those are the shirts I buy.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I like those too. I think I have one that says, once upon a time, there was a girl who loved tattoos and dogs, tattoos, cursing. How is it? Once upon a time, once upon a time, there was a girl that loved tattoos, saying fuck and dogs. It's like me. I'm that girl. And then I have, I'm peace, love, and a little bit of stay the fuck away.
Yeah, that's nice.
At this point, I'll just buy anything that says fuck on it, because I think it would annoy my mother to know that I'm walking around in public with it. And when I went to go try and get my license today, the girl like glanced at my shirt real fast. And then I was thinking like, oh shit.
Yeah.
If they take a picture of me, how far down does the picture? I mean, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Like, pull me over and then see that.
They have
instant
so many
ticket.
rules with
there
those
goes my white privilege.
Can't you, like, you're not even allowed to smile now? So I feel like, you would be able to get away with a shirt like that.
Yeah. So I felt like they would make me put like duct tape over fuck.
Oh, no. I was going to say my mom, if she saw me, that would probably just rip out some duct tape and just like stick it on my boob so it was covered up.
Oh, yeah. By the way, the fuck of fuck racism is on my tit. Like, I don't think it was designed that way. I just think my boobs are.
It just
there.
happens that way.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. Well, it's like I bought a Harry Potter t-shirt. Didn't even think about it. And it's just blue. And it's just got a white pair of glasses with a little lightning bolt over top of it.
Oh, yeah.
But when you put it on, the glasses are perfectly formed to where your boobs are.
Nice round rimmed glasses. Yeah. I feel like they do that on purpose. Mm-hmm. Like anything that, anything that's geared toward children has a little bit of something for adults in it.
Oh, yeah. Well, have you ever watched SpongeBob?
Yes.
I never watched it like a lot, but I remember going and visiting my family's, and my little stepbrother was watching it on TV. So I like popped down on the couch and started watching a little bit of it. And I was like, you guys let him watch? I know it's a cartoon, but like, this is like adult stuff.
So we discovered, we went down to, would have been my second fan con, down in Kentucky. And I forget what the name, Fandom Fest? I was going to say Fantasy Fest, but that's a completely different thing that happens in Key West. And you're naked for it.
All right.
But we went back up to the hotel room to get, I'm cheap, so I bring food with me and make sandwiches because I don't want to pay $9 for a hot dog.
I feel like when you're traveling and stuff, that's smart though.
It's like ballpark prices at these convention centers. So we went up there and we're all watching Teen Titans because we're fucking adults dressed like cartoon characters. So I was like, let's watch this. And then they said something and then it made my brain just go into like, that's what she said mode.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. Like children watch this.
Yeah.
And I realize they don't know.
No, it all goes over their head. But yeah, I like whenever I see that, it's just jarring because it's like, this This is a kid's show, right?
What's a movie or show that your parents let you watch that looking back now, you're like, what the hell were you thinking?
Oh, well, okay. So when you say parents let you watch, that's the problem. My mom, I was not allowed to watch a lot of things.
Oh, okay.
Like looking back, I remember Simpsons was specifically banned. We were not allowed to watch Simpsons.
I mean, that really isn't a kid's cartoon.
No, it's not. It is adult. So like valid. Okay, I get it. But I remember one that we used to sneak and watch all the time that we were not supposed to was Married with Children.
I loved Married with Children.
I loved it too. And I think my dad really liked it. So I feel like we would get away with it when dad was around. But if mom was there, she would not let us watch it.
Yeah. No, my parents were very liberal about stuff because they thought that, not they thought that they could, they thought that they should just explain stuff to me, you know, so treat me like a tiny little adult because I was around a lot of adults all the time. So
yeah.
Around about 1977, 78, when I was 5, I saw, what the hell did they take me to? Grease and Rocky. And I've seen I saw Urban Cowboy at some point. I mean, like I was elementary school age. And then when VHS tapes came along, I think I was in my preteen, early teen. And my, you're like, oh, I've heard of these things called VHS tapes.
Oh no, we used to have an entire wall of VHS tapes.
Yeah. I liked going
still have some.
I liked going to VH. So we lived in a very small town and we had to drive like 40 minutes to get to a video store.
Oh.
And then there was like only one copy of everything.
Yeah.
And I cannot tell you how many times I saw Beastmaster.
That was the worst though. You'd go into the video store and it's like, you know, you go behind the little thing. Like at Blockbuster, they had you had to look behind it and it's like, oh, they're all flat. That means there's none available.
Yeah. So, but at some point my parents rented Saturday Night Fever. Like they had seen it in the theater. Oh, my parents also used to take me to every James Bond movie.
Nice.
So like Moonraker is the first one I remembered. It's funny when you're a child and you're like, I even knew that Pussy Galore was, I know it's not Moonraker, but Pussy Galore is the name that most people know. But I realized that the women's names were that way. I also realized at one point after seeing 5 or 6 of them that the last words that were most James Bond movies were, oh, James, because it was like cutting away from him, like him, starting to shag some chick.
Right.
So obviously I noticed a lot of things. What I did not notice is that Saturday, I watched it for the dancing.
Okay.
I loved it. Everything else went over my head. And then I went back and watched it as an adult and I was like, there's a full-on gang rape in it.
Oh my God, is there really?
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Oh
my God. Well, not gang rape, but I mean, like, 3 guys with this one girl, like one after the other. And I was like, that's horrifying. Like she's crying and I'm like, what the hell?
Oh my God.
Were people thinking?
They put it in a movie.
And who let me watch this? But it went over my head.
I will say, so you said TV shows, and now that I'm thinking about movies, I'm like, oh God, there were probably a couple movies we watched that we definitely shouldn't have been watching, but like, I don't think mom and dad knew about it. It was one of those things where like either babysitters or whatever else. But have you ever seen Porky's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My parents let me watch those too. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So saw all the Porky's when I was younger. And my sister used to make me watch we've talked about horror films before, and I'm not a fan. I attribute this to the fact that my sister used to make me watch the Freddy Krueger movies.
I love that one too. Freddy's coming for you. Mm-hmm. 3, 4, better shut.
I used to have nightmares of Freddy coming in and using my veins as puppet strings to make me walk down a hallway because that's a scene in one of them.
Yeah. I mean, you could have been, wasn't it Johnny Depp who got bloody swiped all over the room, or was he sucked in by
into the airplane.
Air mattress?
It's not an airplane. What the hell is the thing on the ceiling that goes in
the
circles?
Ceiling fan? I thought he got sucked into somebody got sucked into a water bed.
Oh. And then drowned?
I guess. I mean, I don't remember. I was in high school when I saw those, so.
Oh no, I was like, I want to say like first grade, second grade.
that would I saw Halloween. That was the other one.
Okay.
That I saw Halloween. And as an adult, I saw Halloween and I was like, or at least a young adult. And I was like, this is questionable. Yeah. Like I saw so much nudity.
Yeah.
And of course, back then it was all like chick nudity. Mm-hmm. But I saw so much nudity. My parents took me to see my parents were big on taking me anywhere they were going to go. It doesn't matter if it was a bar or the movies or what. I mean, my mom was kind of like, we had a kid and we weren't going to just dump you all the time. So we took you everywhere we went. And then we just talked to you about like what things weren't appropriate for an adult. That's why I knew comedy routines from Mom's Mabley, Red Fox. I knew all of George Carlin's album, A Place for My Stuff. All of the Bill Cosby albums, like from the 60s up to something about the yellow one with chocolate cake for breakfast. I knew all of those because my parents were like, just don't like tell other kids this stuff.
Yeah.
But, of course
don't repeat it.
I recited so much shit from George Carlin and Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy. I'm not sure what my parents were thinking.
I was going to say, those are some hard ones there.
Yeah. So, but no, I mean, of the things that you watched that you sneaked and watched, whatever. Yeah. Are there ones that you definitely didn't get until you were older, and then you were like, oh shit, I know that's what they meant?
I mean, I feel like, all right, this is going to sound bad. I don't know. So I feel like when I was a kid, especially because we moved around a lot too, like, things different in different places. And when we lived in South Dakota, I feel like, I don't want to say it was podunk. We were also kind of out in the wilderness a little bit, and there was also Indian reservations and stuff nearby. And I feel like kids in that culture know a lot more things growing up.
Yeah.
Like earlier on, especially when it comes to marriage and sex and that kind of stuff. So I feel like I learned that stuff early on. So like if I'm watching Porky's when I was in 3rd grade, like I knew what was going on.
And one of my favorite, oh my God, Porky's, one of my favorite things. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. So in the 80s, there was this period of movies that were what they called hard body movies, which are like hot chick, guys trying to bang her, guys getting to bang her. This really weird thing like Revenge of the Nerds, Porky's,
God, the Revenge of the Nerds, yeah.
All of this stuff. I think there was even one called Hard Bodies. If you haven't seen the Kentucky Fried Movie by John Landis, go get it. My parents also let me watch that. I knew what Put 'Em on the Glass was when I was like 13. There is all of that. But again, my parents explained stuff to me. But Porky's, one of my favorite things that they ever did is in Porky's 1, when the preacher has all of his people in the school and the principal says, get the flock out of here. I thought that was so funny. And I'm surprised CPS never showed up at our house. I was a latchkey kid and my parents let me watch adult comedies.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like my parents never really had like conversations with me about it. I kind of just learned through movies and things like that. And, friends.
Yeah.
That tell you things in school. But I do remember my mom was super upset. Because I want to say it was I think it was 6th grade. 6th grade, I had a doctor's appointment. And I went by myself because the doctor's was right next to the middle school that I went to. So I walked over there and went by myself, but my mom came and picked me up because it was after school hours. And when I got in the car, I told her it was like a regular checkup for something.
Yeah.
But while I was in there, the doctor decided to take it upon himself and explain to me how to use condoms and tell me I should go home and practice putting one on a banana so that I know how to use them when I was in 6th grade.
Oh, my goodness.
And I know that like some kids, start doing that earlier on in life.
That we can say sex.
I was not there like as a 6th grader.
No,
this was like pre-first kiss.
We were still young. I mean, even in your generation, that was still very young.
Young.
Kids now are very adultized.
Well, they're more exposed to a lot more stuff, especially with the internet and everything else, and they can access a lot more information. So like when I was in 6th grade, like we didn't have.
Did you guys have sex ed?
No. Well,
so, like,
yes, we had.
Or did you have like these are your parts?
I wouldn't say sex ed. Yes. In 5th grade, there was one afternoon where some nurses came in, handed out little baggies with like tampons and pads in them and
separated the boys and the girls.
The boys and the girls were separate. Yeah. So
boys were getting a, you're going to grow hair in funny places thing. Girls were getting a, you're going to grow hair in funny places plus bleed.
Yeah. So like, it wasn't a sex education course. It was a, hey, you're going to have things start happening to your body and here's some things to help with that. So that was like it. So when I came home and when my mom picked me up, she stormed into the doctor's office and just started screaming at him like, what gives you the right to talk to my daughter about this without suit? I think she was really pissed because nobody else was in the room with me. It was just me and him.
Right.
And like,
that is creepy.
Yeah. Like, you know, and my doctor was, now granted, I was in 6th grade. So in my brain, he was like 50s, you know, which he was probably not that old. But, you know, when you're younger, everybody's older.
But you know what? With minor children, when I worked for doctor's offices as a medical assistant, the doctor was never alone with any aged female when he was doing breast exam, PAPs, anything where he had to touch the woman's body more than just like listen to her breathing, you know, like the little stethoscope test that you have to do.
Yeah.
I had to be in the room, and specifically with minor children of any age.
Yeah.
We were both in the room at all times.
Yeah.
And that makes not sense. At all times. Because here's the double standard, because I'm female.
Yeah.
I would be in the room with the children.
And you were fine?
Giving them shots. Usually their parents were there. Yeah. So, you know, like I was giving them shots. But I did have a girl that was 16 that came in and she wanted to go on birth control. And I'm like, you have to have a pap smear. Are you already having sex? And she was like, yeah. I'm like, I need you to go pee on this. Or, you know, give me pee in the cup.
Yeah.
And then I have to do a pregnancy test before that. And then you have to have an exam. And she got up on the table and slammed her damn legs shut at the knees. And I was like, and she's like, this is so embarrassing. I'm like, if you're having sex,
this can't be embarrassing.
I'm like, somebody else saw it.
Yeah. So if you're not ready for the doctor to see that, then
I'm like, it's going to be very quick too. He was always very good. He was like, he performed one holding his breath one time. It was a cat pee situation. And he came in, he didn't say anything. He came in, sat down, I handed him the utensils. He did the thing. He handed them back to me and then he left, leaving me in the room with the cat pee situation. Like, jackass. But no, I can't believe that like he wouldn't have a nurse in with you, because this was in 2001 when I was...
So I want to say this was probably 6th grade. I was 11. So we're talking like probably 94, 95.
Maybe. I mean,
and for everybody out there now, you know how old I am.
Yeah. I think we've said before, because you're 11 years younger than I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just turned 38.
Yeah. I'll be 49 in 3 months, 2 months, 1 month. Wait.
It's May.
6 weeks.
It's May now for us, but it's not May now for you, because this won't come out in May.
This will be June. A month. You went traveling. We had to episode 8's going to come out, and it was actually just a very long episode 7 that we cut in half. And by the time you hear this, you will realize that I know I've called us a shit show before, but I'm pretty sure we were 4 hours of drinking.
Yeah, it was a long night, but it was fun. We had a lot of fun. Editing was a little messy here and there.
Yeah.
But
but you had to, I had to get married. You had to go to Portland.
Yeah, I went to Portland for
the following weekend. So I think on the 10th, we did 4.5 hours of recording. Bless Brandy's heart, because she's the one who had to figure out where to cut it. And I'm pretty sure you probably cut it where we were like, should we just keep going?
Actually, no, I just came across that point in the next one. I think what I did was I was like, all right, I think I've got a solid hour in. I'm just going to chop it there, make that an episode. And we're just going to make the rest of it the next one. And we keep drinking.
Get ready for a 3-hour episode. Oh, wait. No, you will have already heard that. Unless you skip it because it's 3 hours. You're like, fuck that, not happening.
I think it's
maybe we should do a part A and a part B, but release them at the same time.
We could do that.
Bonus.
Get some bonus action going on. Yeah, no, I think it's probably going to end up around 2 hours. So it's not too bad. Because there was a lot of chopping. We did a lot of off-air talking on air.
Yeah, we got Yeah, we got sidetracked. That's never happened before. We have never been sidetracked.
No, not at all.
Anyway, Portland.
So Portland. So yeah, I took my so I've been trying to go out there for a couple of years now because I have a good friend that moved out there, and hi, she listens to us now.
Hello.
So I kind of set an alert on my phone, and I've been trying to find plane tickets, and plane tickets out to the West Coast is just. They're stupid ridiculous.
Because there's 8 stops, or there's like 3 stops on the way there, and like good luck getting back on the same day on the way back.
So I set an alert on my phone, and like all the tickets I was looking at before were like $500-$600, and I'm like, oh, that's just such a huge chunk of money. And then pandemic, so nobody's going anywhere. But then around Christmas time, something happened, and I think it was Christmas Eve. I woke up to an alert on my phone. And I got a plane ticket for $223.
Shit.
And I was like, round trip? Hell yeah. And only one stop.
Nice.
Yeah. So I flew through Chicago, which the plane ride from Dayton to Chicago, horrendous because you're in a little plane and it does have 2 seats on either side of it, but there's only 13 rows.
Yeah.
And on the way out, we had to go to a different part of the tarmac because in Ohio, seasons are not a thing that exists because it will be spring, summer, fall, and winter all in one day.
True.
We had like a week of 80-degree weather. And then the day I left, when we got to the airport, it was like 25 degrees.
Is that the day it snowed like 5 inches?
It was 2 days after that.
Okay.
So we got a shit ton of snow.
Weather alert. Right about the 26th of April. Again, beautiful weather.
I mean,
beautiful weather. It was wonderful. We were heading into spring. We knew there was trouble when like April was very dry.
Mm-hmm.
And then fucking snow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like 5 inches. I want to say 4 to 5 inches in Dayton and much more in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And because his parents couldn't leave Cleveland in their RV.
Oh,
Cleveland, the city, not Cleveland, their dog.
Yeah.
But they could leave him in the RV, but they had to go check on him every once in a while. But yeah. So
we left and it was like 25 degrees. And so we had to like taxi to another part of the air
de-ice
and do the de-icing, which I've never done before.
Oh, yeah.
That was terrifying.
Giant hairdryer.
Well, it was a giant, the guy's spraying the whole plane down with this stuff, right? Which I'm like, all right, clearly it's de-ice or whatever. But like in my head, I'm imagining it's the same stuff in that like bottle that you spray on your like key lock. Yeah. And I'm like, it's just got a giant like, engine hose thing of like doing this. And then there's a woman that comes out with a little vest on and her gloves and she's just running her hand along the wing. And I'm like, is this what's between me and potentially crashing of iced up like flaps or something?
I mean,
just
that
running her hand.
That and, being honest about your luggage.
Yeah. Right? I was like, geez.
Not getting your carry-on weighed and having it be 48 pounds.
Well, yeah. So we were sitting on the tarmac for an hour before we ever took off. And I was like, oh, this sucks. But thank God I had an hour and a half layover when I got to Chicago.
I would have had to pee by then. And they frown on you getting up and peeing while you're on the tarmac.
They really do.
I'm like, I could pee in the seat. Or if you give me a cup, I'm willing to give it a try.
I can't pee in a cup. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean a bowl.
Too hard.
If you give me a bowl.
A bowl I could probably do.
But I pee a lot. So
yeah. Well, that's the thing. So then my trip from Chicago to Portland.
Oh, yeah. If you guys were looking at Instagram, we posted a photo with some creative blurring on my part. I mean, those who know us, but, we'd rather not have our faces everywhere at this point in our life. If you guys make us famous, then maybe. If this were my job.
Right? Then you can know who I am.
Then, yeah. But yeah, so you were taking beautiful photos in the plane.
Well, I took my last stimulus check and decided that since it was a stimulus check, I needed to put it right back into the economy. So I upgraded my flight to first class on the way to and from Portland.
Nice.
So yeah, I don't hate it. I was getting free drinks the whole time and I was drinking my little bubbly champagne bottles. And
I love it. You're like, fuck beer. I need champagne.
I was like, yeah, I mean, you're in first class. And
did you wear a tiara? Because I feel like
I didn't, but I feel like I could have. But also, I got the front row.
Don't you know who I am, bitch?
And that was the best decision because I had more leg room.
Nice. Yeah, because of the bulkhead shit, whatever it is.
And I also have to pee all the time when I'm on, especially when I'm drinking like little bottles of champagne. So
right.
There was enough room where I could get up, walk around the guy next to me and not have to like wake anybody up or anything. Yeah. So it was very nice.
And you can see your bathroom, which when you're sitting back in economy, unless it's a very big plane, which those are.
Yeah.
So my travels out west, giant plane.
Yeah.
And so you have a bathroom in front of you or like 2 bathrooms in front of you or something like that. And then like 2 behind you.
Yeah.
And I hate planes that don't have bathrooms in the middle because the plane is too small. And then you have to sit there and like crane your neck to see. And I was like, why isn't there just a light that like turns green when somebody comes out of the pisser?
Well, because you're not allowed to stand in the aisle either, like to stand in line.
Right.
So it's like as soon as one person, like you can hear the door creak open or whatever that they're coming out, it's like a mad sprint to see who can get to the bathroom first.
And also I want to say mad props to any business that puts the vacant, vacant, like red green thing.
Those are super
I'm a fan of peeing in truck stops because of that. I don't have to look under the door like a weirdo.
I mean, yeah, it's helpful. It's very helpful.
So when did so you get to Portland? Did you get there daytime, nighttime?
Daytime. So I left at like 8 a.m. I got there at like 11 a.m.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, hey, I traveled through time.
Yeah. Right. Left at 8 a.m. Got there at 11 a.m.
Tired as fuck.
But it was okay because we did a little working from home for the rest of the day, which was only a couple hours. And then we walked down and Portland, I've never been out west before. I've been in California. I've never been like northwest before. Right. But Portland was super cute because it had like all of these little like neighborhoods that are just all stacked together. And
that's
like
cute.
Each neighborhood has their own shit, but it's like the same shit as the next neighborhood, kind of.
Just a different theme of shit.
Yeah. So like within her little neighborhood, it was like within walking distance to her apartment, there was like 3 breweries. There was at least 2 different like food truck courts.
Nice.
That were like their permanent food trucks.
Yeah. I first saw those in Austin and I was like, this is the best thing ever.
Oh, it was amazing. And like all these cute little shops and everything. And I'm like, okay, so this is your little, there's a wine bar. There was, music places, whatever, restaurants. But like one day we were there. So I did go hiking because I felt like I was in Portland, so I had to do something.
Yeah, I saw activity. That. I was like, this is bullshit, but yay you.
Oh, no. Okay, so this is how it started out. She's like, is there anything you want to do while you're out here? And I was like, I feel like we should probably go hiking because, there's beautiful trees, everything else. Weather's great. It was nice and cool, breezy while we were there. So we went for this hike and she's like, okay, well, like, what's the maximum amount of miles that you want to go? And I was like, I don't know, 5 to 7. And she looked at me and
Are you high?
Right. And I was like, that's probably a little high, but I feel like she knows me well enough.
I mean, a 5K is 3 miles.
Well, so here's the thing. So there was a while there where I was running half marathons and stuff on a regular basis.
Yeah. I ran a 5K one time. It was Jay's fault because she was like, do you want to do this?
Yeah.
And I did no preparation because I was like, fuck, I can run 3 miles.
Right.
No. I want to say that I came in like 3rd in my age division, which is awesome.
That's good.
There were only 6 of us.
I mean, hey,
but still, it was 3 miles. Yeah. And like when I turned around, I was like, Jesus, now you have to run 1.5 miles back. This seems unfair.
Well, that's the thing. So I think in my brain, I have this like
because 5 to 7 is like almost 10K, right?
Yeah. So I think I forget. What's a 5K is 3.1. So a 10K is 6.2. So yeah, it's a 10K. So, but in my brain, I think I just like naturally, I was like, all right, well, I mean, I used to do 13 miles all the time.
Yeah. When was the last time you walked anywhere for 6 miles?
Yeah, no, I haven't. Well, and that's the other thing. I was like, oh, but we're also walking. So, it's going to be fine. Also didn't take into account hills or anything else. But so she clearly knew that I was in over my head. And she was like, okay, I found a loop I think it was 3.5 miles, maybe 4 miles.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, let's do that.
Did you die in the middle?
Well, so we're going on the thing. There was also this rose garden that I had seen online that's like only in Portland, like in the world or whatever. So I was like, oh, is that near? And so it was like right off the path, or it looked right off the path.
You're the only person I know who's like, look, it's a rose garden, because all of my other friends were like, look, it's a bar. And that's also you.
Right.
But still.
I was trying to be more cultured. But so she's like, well, do you want to go over there or do you want to follow the path? And I was like, yeah, let's go over to the rose garden. So then we went over to the rose garden and walking around the whole damn thing. And then having to get back onto the trail that we had
Because you got to get back.
Yeah. Well, by the time we got back onto the trail, it was like all uphill. Like we just kept going uphill.
Why didn't you just go back?
Well, because at this point we were way too far in. So,
I'd rather go flat, way more miles.
Oh, no.
Than go like.
There was no flat. There was no flat anywhere. It was only uphill. And I'm sitting there going, okay, at some point we have to start going downhill because we've been going up the entire time.
Oh my God.
So thankfully she has this app that has all the trails on it and everything. And so she pulled out her phone and she's like, all right, well, this is the one we're on. We were going to do this one and it's highlighted or whatever. And I'm like, all right, so what's that right there that like cuts down in the middle? And she's like, well, we could probably do that one. So we got to look for this. And I'm like, okay. So then we just like weaseled our way down. So by the time we were done, we ended up doing 3.5 miles. But thank God that we cut off because if we would have finished the whole loop, I feel like we would have ended up going like 6 miles.
That's stupid. So that same weekend that you were gone, I decided that we were going hiking, but by hiking, I mean just taking a walk. Like I got all trails on my phone, which isn't all trails.
Yeah.
It's just some trails. So I feel like they should change their name to Some Trails. And I feel like our county needs to get better at an app so that I can find all of the trails.
Because we have a ton of trails around here.
So we went to the one, the Possum Creek one.
Okay.
3 people, 3 dogs, all my dogs. Jay went with us and she took the easy dog.
Yeah.
I took the hound dog. David took the Amstaff Shepherd mix. And then those two fought for the lead the entire time. So we took the orange loop, which is 3.5 miles.
Okay.
Also, we're not good at like directions. And at some point I was like, fuck this. We're cutting through look, we're at the map. Yeah. We're cutting through the red. We're not going across this thing.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to die and it was muddy as hell.
Oh, that's the worst.
And people were stealing the boards to put over like more muddy places, which I thought like having boards down, that was a very polite thing for Parks and Rec to do, but people were stealing them because there were other places that were muddy. So instead of just waiting, they were like, you know, that game where like you take a plank and then you put it down in front of you and you climb across it and you take the plank from behind you and you put it in front of you. Somebody did that and then just left them all out there. So we trucked through the mud because hound dogs cannot be deterred from water and dirt. We also learned that Tilly is unfazed by water. We were walking, there's like 5 fishing ponds out there, like on the orange loop.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, look, water. And then put her feet on the embankment and then just walked in. And our other 2 dogs, terrified of water. You cannot get them to do anything in water. The Stormageddon, because I'm a Doctor Who fan, there's only 1 episode where 2 episodes where Stormageddon is mentioned, but still her name is Stormageddon, Dark Lord of all. And she likes a hose. Like she'll play with a hose all day long, but we don't want her to get like water intoxicated.
And she's talking a water hose, not like
a water
like
hose.
Ho dogs.
No, we're not. And she's not playing with ho dogs and we're not beating her with an actual rubber hose. We're spraying water at her. That's hilarious. But so the 2 are terrified of water. We'd never taken Tilly to a body of water and she's just sloshing through it on the rocks, trying to get away from me to go further out.
Oh gosh.
And I was like, no, bitch, you won't come back. Like, you don't like us that much.
Right.
You won't come back. And then I was like, you're scaring the fish. And also the guy behind us was like, do they bite? And I'm like, no, they might lick you to death. But I mean, they think humans are salt licks. So cool. So yeah, we also went hiking, but I cut that shit off. I was like, there's like a little peninsula at some point in the orange loop, and we just cut straight across. Yeah. I was like, I'm not doing all of this bullshit. It's 60 degrees out and I have butt crack sweat.
So I will say, you asked me how long it's been since I've walked that much, and I forgot about this. So last year we've talked many times about camping with the family. Last year, my sister was determined and she was pregnant. And I was always so annoyed because I'm like, you're pregnant. You're supposed to be the one that just wants to sit on your ass. But no, every time she came camping with us, she would find all the trails at the park we were staying at. And we would go and walk all of them. We went to, so Most of the parks, we would do 1 or 2 trails.
Hey, Brandy's sister.
Yeah. Caesars Creek, we did every single trail in one weekend.
No.
Right?
I feel like I don't like your sister
I
now.
was like, I want to go lay in a hammock, have a cigar. Like, I bought myself a blow-up baby pool, and we were right next to a water thing at one point in one of them, and I blew it up, and I sat and, like, I filled it up with water, and we got back from hiking. I just, like, put my swimsuit on. I was like, I'm sitting in the pool.
Shit, you know what? I think I want to go camping just so I have a husband. This is the weirdest thing ever. I still call him my boyfriend. And I'm like, my bad. We got married. I made you get married to me, and I should actually have the verbiage down. He like rolled right into wife. I am still calling him my boyfriend. But the first year we were together, he bought a hammock and a hammock stand.
Nice.
And do you know how many times he's used it?
Probably never.
Twice in our living room.
Oh, okay.
When he got it and put it together. And I'm like, go out into the backyard and just chill.
Okay. Yeah. But I get that though, too, because my dad has a hammock that we've taken camping with us once. And it's such a pain in the ass to put, because it's like this big heavy duty one with the metal frame and everything.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
it's
what
really
David's
nice.
is. Like 2 Y things on each end with
super
like
comfy. But yeah, it's such a pain in the butt to get to put it together and everything else. And then once you get it together, it's like, oh, I feel like there's one camping trip we're going on this year we're going for like a full week.
Nice.
So I might bring like all of the things with us that one. But like otherwise, just for like a couple of days, putting it up, it takes like 2 hours. And I'm like, I'm not spending 2 hours of my time.
No, my husband's doesn't take that long. He just it's metal tubing. And so he pops it together. So it's kind of like putting up an easy up.
Oh, okay.
So it's just like, it all goes into a bag. So I think like the bottom is 4 tubes and then there's tubes to go up. So you can snap it together pretty quickly, but he's never used it.
Yeah.
I don't think using it in our living room counts because both of us just used it to see if we could get in and out without dying.
Right.
Mainly me.
I mean,
because I'm accident prone.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I broke my shoulder and dislocated it picking up dog shit. So I'm super talented at fucking up things. So no, I wish that he would go out and use it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to camp.
I feel like also the last time I took it with us camping and we used it, I also immediately took it back down because there was a small child with us that might have
hung themselves.
Well, no, he might have accidentally gotten popped out of it.
Did Aunt Brandy get in the hammock and launch the child?
Maybe.
Don't you just throw him on an air mattress?
I mean, at least on the air mattress, you're closer to the ground. On a hammock, you're like a good 2-3 feet off.
I mean, it depends on how light he is. Like, do you position a parent and go, "Hey, watch this," and then like jump on the air mattress to pop that kid up in the air?
No, I think the problem was that when I sat on it, it didn't even pop him up so much as that it swung backwards really quickly, and he just like tanked, man.
Face plant. Oh my god!
And I was like, "Oh, we're putting this away."
Don't tell your parents. Here's $1. Oh my god! Don't feel bad. Yeah. So, my nieces were 18 months and like 4 and some months. And their mother was over at the house I was living in doing like, at one point doing textured walls was a big thing, like swirly textured walls. So she was doing that. I was watching the children. It's always a bad idea because the 18-month-old climbed up into a chair on our patio and leaned forward to grab the table. And apparently babies don't have the best depth perception. So she leaned forward to grab the table on her forehead. I felt so bad. But also, I couldn't stop laughing.
Well, I mean, you know.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm crying.
It's funny when they hurt themselves, but also terrifying.
It's heartbreaking. I was like, shit, I have to. So my motto when I took any of the children was, I must return this in the condition in which I got it.
Well, and that's the thing. I'm like, they're so bendy. And they bounce so well. You know what I mean? Like they're very squishy, but also the bendy
fragile
part's
as fuck.
Yeah. Like you can face plant and be fine. We were to
oh no, she had this goose egg the size of a baseball that turned purple immediately, and she didn't get hair.
Oh.
Like the first one got hair. Number one got hair immediately, like born. Then she had a shit ton of hair when she was born.
Yeah.
Number two, bald for 3 years. I mean, just fuzz.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, not bald, but like, we almost need to give the first one a haircut, like before a year old. But yeah, number two, no hair, just a giant baseball size lump in her forehead because Aunt Mindy failed.
No.
And laughed about it.
I mean,
they don't bounce when you need them to.
No. I feel like they only bounce when they do it by themselves. Nobody's watching.
Also, why do kids just throw themselves on the ground and they're like, look at me? I'm like, that's not funny. I don't care. So that's why I don't have children, because I can't care.
I've been learning a little bit how to not react when things happen sometimes. Because
so that it doesn't happen again and again and again.
Well, so that they don't get upset. Because so we were having dinner at a couple's house that we know, and they have 2 little kids, and the one little one was just running around like crazy person.
Yeah.
But she was done with dinner and everything else, and but she slipped and totally just like face planted on the ground. And like I looked at the mom, because I'm like, immediately I don't want to look at the kid because I don't want to laugh. I also don't want to be like, oh my God, are you okay? So I look at the mom and she just goes, you're okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And she got up, came over. All right, cool. Like
they don't know they're hurt. I mean, unless they're really hurt, they don't know they're hurt until you say something.
Right.
So yeah, we were always like, dust yourself off.
Yeah.
We were always very...
That is a magical thing, because I immediately want to be like, oh my God, are you okay?
Yeah. Is it Sierra, dust yourself off and try again? I feel like that's just a law for children.
Yeah.
So back to the Portland thing, because look, this is why people listen to us, because we don't finish stories, or we do out of order. So you went hiking. I saw that you went hiking a couple of times. So I'm hoping the second time was more successful. Short.
Did not go hiking a second time.
Oh, I thought no. So all your pictures were from one hike.
That was all from one hike, because I was like, I have to take pictures to prove that I was actually doing exercise and in nature, because otherwise all of my pictures from my trip are going to be of alcohol and breweries.
I mean, you're not wrong.
So, but although I will say the next day we did go to a neighboring neighborhood.
A neighboring neighborhood.
A neighboring neighborhood, which is how I discovered that all of the little neighborhoods
in your neighborhood, not in my neighborhood, because I'm in a neighboring neighborhood.
So I
do not sue me, Sesame Street. Swear to God. Number one, you can't get anything from me. And number two, don't fucking be a dick.
They can have the 81 cents that we've made off of ad sales.
So we think we have that figured out. I listened to episode 7. So you have to listen because you edit. I listen because I need to remember what the fuck we talked about.
Yeah. Well, and the problem is when I'm listening, it doesn't have the ads in it because I listen to it while I'm editing, and then when I send it.
I need a tissue. No, so we're figuring the ad things out.
Yeah.
It's gotten much better. I hope you guys have gotten Geico or Progressive, whatever the commercial is that just keeps playing again and again and again. Look, we signed up for the adult ones. They were like, will you like do birth control and abortion and politics? And I was like, fuck yeah. Let's make sure they're the right politics. Not there's a right and a wrong, but there is. So I'm like, yeah, we'll sign up for all of that. And we've made 81 cents so far. Yeah. And I'm not even sure how that happens.
I don't
either. They keep reminding me, like, you haven't set up a PayPal account. And I'm like, why the fuck would I? It's going to take a year. Just let me deal with that. So I still need to set up an LLC. Mm-hmm. Instead of just having it be Drunk Bitches Be Like, because I'm not sure they're actually going to give me a license for that. I'm going to put it under, unless we think we're going to do like 3 more of these one day.
Yeah.
The dream is that somebody else will do a podcast and we'll just
join in,
tag it on our name. So it's going to, so my original initials are MLO. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing EM, EL, Oh, no. Mellow. Mellow. M-L-O. Anyway, it sounds much better on paper. So MLO Productions.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what the fuck we're going to produce, but we're going to produce this.
I mean, yeah, this is getting produced.
And I kind of want it to be a business. I think we're at the point now, hey, if you're listening to this or you watch our Instagram and you have a bar, we're ready to travel.
Yeah, I think so.
We've done enough here.
And we're both vaccinated now.
Right. And it's free advertising for you.
Yeah.
We don't, unless you just want advertising, and then I'll make you pay for it.
That's true.
No.
We can do those.
There we go.
We will take out the other ads and we will put your ads in exclusively.
We'll put a fast disclaimer that says,
yeah,
this product, this business does not necessarily, the views and opinions of the people in do not necessarily, yeah.
And I'll put it at like 1,000 times speed, so it'll sound like a chipmunk and nobody can understand what you're saying.
Have you been told that a lot of people listen to us on 1.5?
Yeah. Well, I will say though.
Okay, I just want to say we have 2 different vocal styles.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what that sounds like because I have a very deep voice.
I don't. But also, okay, so I usually listen to podcasts at 1.5 speed. So I understand like the thought behind it. But also I feel like I talk faster than a lot of podcast people that I listen to because I've played them at regular speed and I'm like, oh my God, it's so slow. But maybe it's just because I'm used to listening to it at 1.5. But also I have listened to my own voice on like recordings. Clearly I have to because I edit this.
Right.
But before that I even did. And I feel like I sound like a chipmunk, but I have had people tell me they have a hard time telling us apart.
I don't understand that because I'm down to here and you're a couple of things above. Yeah. I don't know if it's an octave or whatever it is, but you're a little bit above.
Yeah.
I understand what you say about talking fast. I make a conscious effort to speak slowly. And if any of you think that I'm speaking too fast, you have no idea how bad it can get.
Oh, yeah.
Because if I'm on a roll, like my mom hates to talk to me when I am very worked up about something.
Oh, yeah. I don't breathe.
And she can't hear. So she has hearing aids. So they're processing sound.
Yeah.
So she has a hard time distinguishing sound. And then I come in ramped up as fuck. Like, she's like, one day we'll just do.
Yeah.
I'll speak in my normal pace and then somebody will freak the fuck out. Because they'll be at 1.5 times. Then it's going to go like this. So much faster. I need a longer sentence to do. But I try and make a conscious effort. This isn't my everyday voice.
Yeah.
I am not a broadcaster. You went to broadcast school, but this is the voice that I use when I talk on the phone professionally.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why. I think because I find my actual natural voice very annoying. Mm. So I try and do this, and my natural voice has a lot of vocal fry in it. And I am particularly sensitive to the sound of vocal fry. NPR is killing me. They keep hiring 20-year-olds that make every sentence a question.
Oh, gosh.
And then everybody is talking like this. Stop it. Stop it. No.
I will say broadcast school taught me one thing, and that is that I have one voice that I cannot change. I can do some accents, but other than that, and that's only because I used to have a Southern accent when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So if I'm around anybody with a Southern accent for longer than like 20 minutes, I will have a Southern accent again for a little while. And then it goes away again.
I can do an indistinct Southern accent. Like I can hear accents very well. So I know the difference between Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Texas.
Wow.
I cannot do the difference between those.
Yeah.
And it frustrates me because my dream job, let's talk about these things. My dream job would have been being an actress.
Yeah.
And I think with enough. No, that's not going to work for acting.
I'm the one with retainers.
So I think with enough practice and working with a vocal coach that you get, or a dialect coach, that you get there. But Southern is the only thing that I ever used. And I used it when I lived in Panama City because they're incredibly sensitive to a Northern accent.
Yeah.
And they won't give you shit.
Yeah.
So when I call a doctor's office, I actually need them to do something for me. So I'd be like, hey, It's Mindy from Dr. Patel's office. I was just wondering if you have an opening.
Yeah.
We have a patient that could really see your doctor. If you could, oh my God, thank you so much. And then off. That is not my Tennessee family's accent. That is not Alabama. Mm-hmm. That is not Georgia. And it is not Mississippi. Certainly not Texas. I lived in Texas and I never picked that shit up.
Oh, see, that's where my accent came from. I was in the Panhandle.
Sorry. It's a very indistinct Southern accent.
Yeah.
Texas. When I lived in Texas, I see, this sounds stupid. I see accents visually. Mm-hmm. So Texas to me looks very tall and wide.
All right.
And like, Mississippi looks to me to be shorter. Mm-hmm. And fatter.
Okay.
Not wide, but fat. Okay. And then you should see what Louisiana looks like in my head. He wears a beret. It's red, white, and blue, but not in the same order. And it's all cursive.
Nice. Very nice.
But yeah, I couldn't pick up a Texas accent. But if I do go to Tennessee, I end up sounding like that. I specifically did not pick up I tried so hard and succeeded. When I lived in Panama City, I was not going to pick up an Alabama accent, which is what you end up picking up.
Yeah.
Very few people actually pick up a Georgia accent there, but it is lower Alabama in the Panhandle. So it is what it is. But I didn't want to sound like that, which just made people call you a Northerner and try and make excuses for you. And I was like, and then every time I see a meme that was like, I'm that friend that you explain to other friends before they meet you. And I was like, fuck. May say something stupid and or offensive at any point in time.
It's fine.
So how did you get rid of your accent though? I mean, is it just moving around or going to broadcast school and they beat it out of you?
Kids are cruel.
True.
I moved to South Dakota after Texas, which
don't you know?
So as soon as I moved to South Dakota, I'd say probably the first week I got made fun of so ruthlessly for my accent that I nipped that shit in the bud.
Yeah.
But the funny part is that I feel like I fall back into it easier because, like, as a child, you have a much easier time learning languages and things like that. So I learned to really like talk and read and things like that when I was in Texas. So like that was my very early ages. And I think I moved to South Dakota when I was in, I don't know, kindergarten.
Yeah.
So I was in Texas for 3 years before kindergarten. So I was preschool age. So that's when I was learning my alphabet.
That's what you're
numbers.
hearing.
And so, so that was, and I could read and everything before I got into kindergarten. And because I had an older sister and I wanted to be like her and I wanted to go to school like she did. So like, I literally tried to learn everything. And so I think I started preschool when I was 2.
Yeah.
Just so that I could go to school too. And, it was daycare, preschool, whatever. And then I did that until kindergarten hit. But so I learned how to talk and read and everything when I was in Texas. And so I had this accent because I lived in Abilene, which is this little town, nowhere, Texas. So then when we moved to South Dakota, because I was an Air Force kid and we moved around, it was just like you'd go on the playground and kids would just ruthlessly make fun of you. And I became an asshole.
I mean, at least it wasn't North Dakota.
Yeah. Well, at least it wasn't North Dakota because they didn't have nearly as strong of an accent, especially because we were in Rapid City. So it was southern South Dakota. So it was more like Plain States kind of a thing. But I literally became this like kid that was constantly like defending herself.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. So it was like I became the girl that you didn't mess with. And the friends that I had, like when the boys would make fun of you, it was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to kick you in the nuts now. Or I got detention because I bit somebody. Like, so
you bit somebody?
I bit somebody.
Jesus.
I mean, I warned him.
I mean, we'll unfold that in a little bit.
I was a biter. So I just
serves you well now.
I was like, yeah. So, but yeah, so it definitely, it didn't take long for me to lose it, but it doesn't take long for me to pick it back up either. Because like I went on this trip when I was a senior in high school, and it was a week-long program. I went to DC and it was like a political camp basically for a week. And And this was before 9/11. So it was actually, you got to go into the Senate chamber and all like do all kinds of fun stuff. Stuff that I thought was fun at the time.
Look, girl, I was a Bush Republican and I still stand by that shit. However, I would have found that shit interesting too.
I mean, you got to go to a college and stay for a week and meet people from all across the country. But my roommates, I had 3 roommates and they were all from, 2 of them were from North Carolina and 1 was from South Carolina.
Oh, those are totally different accents.
They are, but they're all Southern. And by the time my parents came to pick me up at the end of the week, my mom looked at me and goes, "What the hell's wrong with you?"
Well, because in North Carolina, it takes a week and a half to say a sentence. They're so stretched out.
Yeah.
And in Tennessee, where my family's from, my name, I mean, sometimes I can pick it up when I'm there.
Yeah.
I make a conscious effort to not do it.
Yeah.
Because by God, I was born and raised in Ohio. I have as little accent as possible.
Right.
Because that's how it is here.
Yeah.
I mean, we're above whatever the fuck that is that separates us from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Because people in Cincinnati, it's crapshoot. Most of them sound like they're from Kentucky.
Yeah.
But I'm not there.
Right.
We're in the North. I try and sound like it. But when I go home with my mom, they pronounce my name Mandy.
Oh.
And it's just weird to listen to it. My cousins came up for the wedding and I love them, but there's a very specific way that Tennessee sounds.
Yeah.
And it's very marble mouthed.
Oh, I hate that when you can't understand them.
No, so not like Boomhauer.
Okay.
Boomhauer, whatever that guy's name is on, but more, I'm going to murder this. And then I don't think any of them listen to it. Maybe Amanda and Amber do, but who knows? So it's more like, Mandy, what are you doing? I'm doing nothing. What are you doing? And it's Mindy. So it's very like they got their mouths closed and and we're from East Texas. We're in Bristol.
Okay.
Which the only thing there to see is goddamn Speedway.
Yeah, NASCAR.
So
Bristol, Tennessee.
Bristol, Texas. Tennessee. And not Bristol, Virginia. We're on the Tennessee half of it. I mean, it is, but it's not.
Yeah.
So I like the sound of Southern accents.
Yeah.
I just don't want to sound like a Southern accent.
Well, I think they sound nice because they can be like the biggest bitch in the world, but because of the accent, it makes it sound like they're being sweet.
Yeah, that's like any European accent.
Yeah.
Like Irish. I love an Irish accent. I love a Scottish accent. Britain's third in that line.
Yeah.
Give me a James McAvoy or Michael. Damn it. I can't remember his name. That sounds so bad. I can tell you like 3 movies that he's in. But anyway.
Wait, give me the 3 movies.
Nope. I'm just joking.
Okay.
I will tell you that on Graham Norton, he was on with James McAvoy because they're friends. They were in a couple of movies together. And
were they in the X-Men thing together? Mike Fassbender?
Yes. Yeah. Fassbender. Yeah. All I could think of was like the movie where he did Full Frontal, and I was damn, be proud, man.
Honestly, if you just
fucking proud.
If you just said Michael and then said the guy that showed his penis off, I would have gotten that as well.
The guy who screwed a girl against a glass window because he was broken inside and his sister was trying to help him. That guy. I
haven't seen that movie, but I just heard about it so much.
I mean, good for him. So I love that. Craig Ferguson.
Yeah.
If Craig Ferguson doesn't become Doctor Who before I die or before he dies,
he would be a good one.
He's significantly older than I am.
Yeah.
Not really. He's as older than I am as I am to you. But I think he would be great. And then online, people are like, the Doctor can't be Scottish. And I'm like, David Tennant, ring a bell? Fucking hell. I'm like, and he didn't change his accent. So now I love a Scottish and an Irish accent. And I want it to say anything in the world to me. And then we think that we pick that up and we don't. We sound stupid. There's like an Irish person who's like, Jesus Christ. Also, having met some people from Ireland, they're like, everybody in America thinks that they are from Ireland. And I was like,
oh, well, yeah.
Now that I have DNA, I know that I am not. Actually, it's like 1%. I know that I'm not. I'm mostly English and Welsh. And I didn't know that England and Wales were separate things. but they are.
I knew they were like next to each other.
Yeah. I know that somebody's the Prince of Wales.
Yeah.
But no, so the Southern people can say mean things to you.
Oh yeah, and it sounds super sweet.
Right. And then anybody from the UK can say mean things to you and you're like, "Aw."
See, now I feel like
that sounds hot.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They don't sound sweet to me. If it's a dude, it just sounds sexy.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Dead sexy. Sorry, not Mike Myers. And I'm like,
yeah,
dead sexy.
With the exception of Michael Myers.
I mean, that's just a character, but still.
Yeah. No,
I think I have the same. I'm like, hi, continue talking to me.
Yeah.
We were in a bar one night and these guys were doing training at the Air Force Base here.
Yeah.
And they were from the RAF. And one guy said, "I like your country and Western music." And I was like, but he said it in a manner that led you to believe it was two separate things.
Oh, like our country and Western music.
Right.
Instead
not
of
country
Western music.
Yeah. Like he's the kind of guy who would be like Louisville. And I'm like, or like Louisville. And I'm like, no, it's just Louisville.
Now that one you have to say like you have marbles in your mouth.
Yeah, like a marble under your tongue, Louisville. But they were, oh my God. I was like fangirling over them so hard. And they taught us a bunch of drinking songs and I found it very fascinating. And then we took them to another bar and they said the taxi driver told us not to go on that side of the Oregon. Yeah. And I'm like, you'll be fine. Like, you're not going to die here. And then we stood outside. Oh my God. There was a guy that used to play sax in the Oregon district. Yeah. I haven't seen him forever. I don't know if he's still alive, but he was playing. Every song that he would play, like they were throwing money, toward him because he's busking. But any song he would play, they would sing "God Saves the Queen," "God Save the Queen" to whatever it was. So like "God Save the Queen" to Tequila, "God Save the Queen" to Wipeout. And then anyway, they were. Like, I love you guys. It just set me up for disappointment because I also like adored an Irish boy and he did not want to marry an American girl or date one or anything else with one. I was quite disappointed, but at least he talked to me and it sounded sexy.
Yeah. It's nice just to listen.
Yeah. It sounds so sweet. And I'd be like, speak Gaelic to me. And he's like, you don't even know if I'm saying anything. And I'm like, I don't care. Here's what I don't fucking care about. Whatever you're saying. So what else about Portland?
So I had a friend. So we were going to the neighboring neighborhood because I had a friend who suggested a restaurant that we go to. And it just so happened it was the neighborhood next to theirs. So we looked it up and it was like, okay, cool. So my friend's husband was like, yeah, it's over here. Blah, blah, blah. We can walk there. And I'm like, all right. So the next morning we get up and we're like planning to walk down there. And it's like, okay, it's a 2-mile walk.
What's wrong with you people?
And it's in Portland and it's pouring down rain because it was the only
because it's in Portland.
Because it's in Portland and it was supposed to rain all weekend. I will say it was supposed to rain all weekend. It only rained that one day. But so we walked 2 miles up to the other restaurant and we ended up walking. We got there, put our name on the list, and then like walked back to another place, got a drink because they were like, it'll be 50 minutes.
All right. 50. I'm like 15. You could have just fucking waited.
Right. No, 50 minutes. And I was like, all right. So we had passed a place that was open down the road. And so we were like, let's walk down there while we're waiting because they had my number. They were going to text me. So we walked down there, ordered a beer. And we were like, well, do we want to just eat here? And we kind of looked at the menu and we're like, no, let's go to the other place. Let's just have a beer here. And then we'll walk over there. And literally got our beers, sat down at the table, and I got a text message.
You can't be like, next.
And I was like, okay, it's been 15, 20 minutes tops. Like, if that had been the case, we would have just, like, waited. So then I'm like, all right, everybody chug your beers, which we didn't. We took our time. But you had to respond to the text message. So this is the first time I've ever gotten a respond to it where it was like, hey, your table's ready. Respond 1 to say you're on the way. Respond 2 to cancel. And I was like, 1, bitch, we're on the way. We're going to finish our beers
They need to have
first.
a 3, like, go to the next person.
Right. We'll be there in 20.
I had to, this is nothing like being in Portland. I forgot to get my groceries today. So I dropped Tilly off at daycare. Tilly's a dog, not a human.
Are we talking pre-order groceries?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I dropped Tilly off at daycare.
Mm-hmm.
She's in Moraine. My grocery store is also Moraine adjacent.
Yeah.
I drop her off. I head up Stroop because I'm like, God damn, they got a great Starbucks in the Kroger up there.
Yeah.
I pulled into the parking lot. 8:55. I picked an 8 to 9 window. 8:55. And as I pulled in, I was like, oh shit. I have an order. So it also had like the meat that we needed for this week. Otherwise, I might have just let it go.
Right.
So, and I hate shopping. So I turned around and opened up their app and was like, I'm on my way. Like, at least they know I'm coming.
Right.
And then I got there and got my groceries before the woman next to me, which I'm pretty sure pissed her off, but I wanted to lean out and be like, I'm an hour and 5 minutes late. My bad.
You got here early.
Yeah. Stop doing that. Just because you got here at 9 doesn't make you special. The window is 9 to 10.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not strictly at 9. So anything in Portland that you would recommend that somebody go do other than a fucking 5-mile walk?
Yeah. I will say we took one day and we drove out to Willamette Valley, which I learned.
Willamette or Willamette?
It's Willamette.
But it's spelled Willamette?
So, yeah. So I always thought it was Willamette Valley, right?
Wilamet?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
But when I went out there, I said it. And my friend was like, oh, no. I learned this because she said it's Willamette, like damn it.
So Willamette.
Yep.
So not Will Lamette.
No.
Because there's only one L.
It's Willamette.
Jesus. I feel like I bitch about so many things in our area about how people pronounce it. By the way, we live in a state where we call it Bellefontaine and it's Bellefontaine.
Yep.
We call it Rushi and it's
spelled
Russia.
Versailles.
Versailles. Fucking hillbillies.
That one drives me nuts. And I think it drives me nuts because I've been to Versailles. So like coming back to Ohio and being like, no, you need to call it Versailles because you're not Versailles.
No shit. We also have a Paris. It's just pronounced Paris.
Mm-hmm.
It's normal.
But yeah, so I think going out to, we drove out there and did went to one of the wineries and did a wine tasting.
Is there anything that you would recommend not alcohol based? The Rose Garden.
The Rose Garden looks like it would have been beautiful, but none of the roses had bloomed yet.
And it looks like it would have been more beautiful if you could have carried a beer through it.
So probably.
I mean, it's a Rose Garden wine. I mean, if you could have carried wine through it.
Okay, there was one thing I was obsessed with when we were there because there was a bar/restaurant that we went to a couple of nights that was like block from their place. It was non-alcoholic, but I was obsessed with it because we talked about the fact that I bought myself a Soda Stream and I've been all over the bubbly water. So they had. Oh,
by the way, you need to talk your partner into getting you a keg, a soda keg, so that you can fill it with water and then carbonate it so that you can get rid of that fucking Soda Stream and just get all the goddamn carbonated water you want.
And just have a keg?
Mm-hmm. Nice. He has the husband. The partner, the husband, whatever the fuck you want to call him. The husband has the 5-gallon. That's what he brews beer and puts it in. And he has one that's just distilled water. It has to be distilled water because apparently bacteria.
Oh.
And then he just bought this new thing that force carbonates everything. So I don't
see. I feel like
he
I wouldn't
said
do
words to me, and I was like, "Hey, great, honey.
Yeah, fantastic.
Can you fucking make that shandy for me or what?"
I feel like I wouldn't do it because it's distilled water. Because right now I can use tap water.
I know, but distilled water is gonna.
I know.
If you're gonna fill something, you have to fill it with distilled water. Otherwise, it's got bacteria.
Right, but then I have to go to the store and buy water. Which,
I mean, what else is he for?
That's true.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We love you.
Well, but so
and thank you for getting tables for my wedding because I underplanned a lot of shit. God damn. So will you go back to Portland?
Absolutely. So they had
10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yes. So the thing that I was obsessed with.
Yeah.
It was a seltzer water.
Finishing a story. Is that what you're obsessed with?
So it was cucumber mint infused with CBD.
Nice. Like the CBD with THC?
No.
Oh, okay.
So it was just CBD like seltzer water, but it was cucumber mint flavored. And like you could go.
Are they legal there?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we walked past a couple of places that were, but I don't like the smell and I can't do it anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
I just want gummies.
But yeah, so they're legal. But I was obsessed with that. And so like I kept getting like cups to go and I'd put them in her fridge. So like the next morning I'd have one to drink. They were really yummy.
My hairstylist, I went and got my hair cut today because it's post-wedding and I can do what the fuck I want.
Nice.
And so she cut my hair and she was like, I wish you would have done this before the wedding. And I'm like, to be honest, I wish I would have done it before the wedding. But she said that she's now taking CBD. And she's like, she has the CBD vape. And I'm like, are you sure it's just like the regular CBD? And she's like, yeah, it's like the Ohio legal CBD. Yeah. Which is, we are restricted to the hemp version of it. So it's it has to be test less than 0.03 of THC, which honestly, depending on how much you vape, you eventually can build that shit up in your system. Yeah. Because we've had a couple of news stories about people failing drug tests because of it. Really? And I'm like, how much fucking CBD are you taking? It's 0.03 per ounce. Like, Are you drinking it? Yeah. Like, it's expensive.
It is expensive.
Yeah. So, she said she's really enjoying it. I'm assuming vaping is better than I tried it under my tongue. Yeah. Oh my God. It was mint chocolate and I thought I would vomit. Oh. I didn't pay attention.
I had a raspberry when I put it under my tongue and I don't think it did anything. I don't know.
I don't feel like it did anything at all either. However, I was doing that instead of addressing my mental health issues. So I don't think it was going to help me as much as I thought it would help me. So I'm much better now. It's better now. Don't sue me. I feel like Post Malone would be cool with that. Be fine. So are you going to make plans to go back?
So I want to. So my friends are actually making plans. I think they want to move possibly to Seattle in the future.
Ooh, nice. More rain.
Yeah. So I'm thinking like once they bounce up there, then I'm going to try and take another trip up that direction because I've never been to Seattle either. So
take me with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like so, I get asked this so much. Are Brandy and I friends? Yes.
Yes.
Are we friends that hang out a shit ton? No, because then what would this be?
Yeah.
But we do hang out enough that we talk about our day-to-day shit and we keep the special shit for this. But yeah, I'm not sure what would happen if we should just take the equipment with us.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun. We could do it on site. I will say though,
we could start in the plane with like the Spreaker app.
Anybody who listens to our last episode,
7?
No, 8.
8.
So anybody who listens to 8 will know that I'm a bit of a lazy ass and like to stay at home a lot. So we're friends as much as my non-being lazy schedule allows.
Yeah. I heard you're not going to do the Steel Dart League.
I might change my mind on that.
You might have to because that's the only way we're going to have a foursome.
Well, I told him I was like
in darts.
If there's no,
we're not having a foursome. Jesus Christ.
So we've talked about the Dart League before, and so there's another.
If we're there constantly, then it should. Then it should make everything all better.
Yeah. And that was my thing. I was like, he told me about it.
Because he can't get mad at me as much as he wants to. He cannot. I'm not Jay. Mm-hmm. Sorry. Mm-hmm. I know you listen to this, but you push his buttons.
Yeah.
I'm not a button pusher.
That's true.
I'm an ass kisser.
No. Yeah.
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 I like to keep the peace.
Yeah. Well, and that's, I mean, you have to at some point. So I told him because originally I was like, I'm not doing that. And then he was like, yeah, and me and and I was like,
yeah.
And there's 3 of you. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, do you have a 4th? And he was like, not yet. And I was like,
I tried to get Bill to do it. He was like, let me get back to you. And I'm like, yes and no.
Yeah.
And I feel like you should.
Well, I told him I would do it.
Do we have to travel or do we just get to do it here?
I don't want to travel. That's the thing. I feel like it's going to be the same thing as the other one where you have to travel from place to place, but like you're here half the time, but then the other half.
Still, we make it more fun than, I mean, I'm not saying that your other partners weren't fun. I just think that like somebody on your team has a higher tolerance for bullshit when it's he and I. And I think it's cute that he wants to hang out with my husband.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
It is. It's nice. And well, that was my thing. When
I
he
feel
told
like shooting things helped bond them.
Yeah. They like to shoot things together.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of shooting things.
He said that. So my husband, everything is locked up. We are a very responsible household, but he does leave one thing available for me.
Yeah.
And he's confident that I know how to use it.
Right.
He leaves the simple thing that would make the smallest hole possible, but stop somebody.
Yeah.
And that's always available to me because I don't have the combination to any of the safes, which I think is great because I'm not going to remember them anyway.
Right.
So yeah, I have enough of what I need.
Yeah.
In case somebody comes in the house when he's not there. Well, but I understand not wanting to have one.
Well, and that's the thing. And I don't know how to properly use them.
So do you think you'd feel better about it if
I did?
Not with him.
Yeah.
But with my husband and myself learning, because my husband's a great teacher and we could do a small one. We do a small one. That's what I get out.
So my issue is I have a weird issue with guns. I don't think we've actually said the word guns. This is what we're talking about, people.
Firearms.
Firearms. Because we were talking about shooting after darts. So
no, we're not shooting darts and we're not shooting arrows.
Yeah. So we were talking about darts and now we're on to firearms. So my partner and her husband they went out to a gun range and
I have a husband.
Yeah, you have a husband. And I don't okay, so my dad had a BB gun that I like a lot.
I have a BB gun. I had a BB gun that it could build up pressure.
Oh, so his is like a giant rifle, but you can only put one thing in at a time. And
no, mine was just fucking ratchet it until you can't ratchet it anymore and then shoot it at somebody because we play BB Wars.
Yeah.
We were not responsible. Plus we were latchkey kids and nobody was watching us. So what's the issue? You liked the BB gun.
I like the BB gun.
Because somebody is under the impression that under no circumstances would you ever be okay with it. And I was like, what if she went shooting with us? It still wouldn't make you comfortable to have one in the house, but would you be more comfortable about knowing how to use something?
So it's not so, okay. So this is the underlying.
And also your partner cannot use this audio as an excuse for anything. I swear to God, this is not a contract. We're just talking some shit out.
This is not an affirmation of so I purposely took self-defense classes and stuff when I was in college because I wanted to learn how to defend myself. And I understand the want to have a firearm to defend yourself in your home. I never want to be in the position where I take somebody else's life.
I appreciate that.
And I will say that if I end up taking somebody else's life because I'm defending myself and I do it with my bare hands, then that means I was fighting so hard to get away or I felt like I was actually going to die in that instance, then I feel like I would have a morally clean conscience about it.
Yeah.
Whereas if I had somebody break in or something and I just used a gun and then accidentally killed them.
Right.
And there was a way that they could have just taken something and gotten out of my house and still been alive.
You don't have to kill them. You could just shoot them in the ankle.
Well, and that's the thing. And I've thought about that, but I'm like, I would rather just not even have.
Right.
I just rather would not have it there.
So you could be in the situation like I am. So here's the thing. He is a hobbyist.
Yes. And that's the thing. And I don't mind people.
So he likes to have the things. He likes to have
shooting ranges. That doesn't bother me.
I'm just saying if there is a compromise to be struck.
Yeah.
I have no access to any of the safes.
Right.
He would allow me to have access, but I don't think it's wise for any of us.
I don't. Yeah.
And the thing that he gives me, I don't have good enough aim to make it lethal.
Yeah.
But I have good enough aim to make it hurt.
Yeah.
Because I'm just shooting for the dick.
And I will say, so I've never had any firearms in my house. And so when we moved in together, I knew he had one. I wasn't a fan, but I was like, I'm okay with it being in the house as long as it is under lock and key in a safe that is something that is inaccessible. I don't want it something that is just laying around or anything else like that.
Right.
And he did that, and that's great. So I'm kind of like, if he wants to buy another one or whatever else, that's fine. I'm okay with it. to me, there's a point at which it's like, if this is just a hobby to take out to like the range and like do your thing, or even if it was like hunting rifles, I get hunting rifles and things like that.
I think that most of them are, if he's hanging out with my husband, it's very much a hobbyist thing, because my husband has a weapon that can it obliterates cantaloupes. It has set not a laptop. It has set a CPU on fire because somebody forgot to take the fucking battery thing out of it. I don't know. He enjoys it.
Yeah.
He likes not the novelty of it. He likes it's like knowing something expertly. It's chess for him.
Yeah.
For me, there's only a finite set of weapons that I can, firearms, not weapons. There's only a finite set of firearms that I am comfortable with. I will not shoot a long rifle.
Yeah.
Number one, because I just don't have the physical aptitude for it. I would make your partner look like a fast shot because it freaks me out. I was in the military and I still have a hard time with, I shot an M16 and I qualified.
Yeah.
But I'm just not good at that.
Yeah.
I prefer pistols, and I thought I would want a revolver because you can shoot them dirty more often than you don't have to clean it as much.
Yeah.
Turns out I cannot shoot one. I'm really bad at it. He has one that's like 38s or 45. I don't know. You can put two different kinds of things in it.
Yeah.
And I'm bad at both of those things. I'm just, at least I've never shot the ceiling near him. Shout out to my friend in Tip City who was with me when I shot a ceiling at the range, and I'm surprised they didn't kick us out. So, I mean, there are mistakes that you can make, but I would be happy to, if anytime you wanted to, because my husband is like low pressure.
Yeah.
He would be perfectly fine with just doing our loading.
Yeah.
And letting us do our thing. And he has little things, and then he has bigger things. The bigger things shoot hot shells into your cleavage. Oh. So you have to wear a high neck shirt.
See, I have no interest in that.
I mean, there's an ejection process that I didn't realize until my friend in Tip City. I'm not mentioning his name. I'll ask him tomorrow if he's fine with me mentioning his name. When I told him about the podcast, I was like, I'm not telling any stories with anybody's names in it. Because I've known him for 25 years now.
Yeah.
It does not, no, 20 years. 25 seemed long. 20 years I've known him, and he took me shooting. And I wore a polo because I thought that was a reasonable shirt to wear shooting. I'm busty as fuck. I bought them. I like them. Shit can fall into them.
Usually it's food, though.
I mean, but yeah, my life was easier when I was an A cup. I will 100% testify to that. So we went shooting with his father and his friend, and I was shooting a 45.
Okay.
It has a big boom. It's a Glock. It has a big boom, but it's not like whatever the fuck the Magnum 45 is. I don't know. It wasn't as big as the next gun up.
Yeah.
Which I don't remember if we had or not. So his dad was shooting a 380, and he was like, do you want to shoot this? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, much easier than that. So then I went back to shooting the 9mm. I got a fucking shell down my shirt. I had shell burns on my tits, like 3 shell burns, because when it ejected, it was ejecting backwards instead of to the side. And I went to get a shell out of my shirt, and I shot the ceiling in the alley. It was not like above my head. It was in the lane.
Yeah.
But still, you're not supposed to shoot it. And I'm really glad that none of the people who were there to tell you not to shoot shit didn't come over. And right after that, I was like, I need to take a break. And then his friend was like, do you want to shoot this? He had a Sig Hour something. And when I shot it, it had 2 safeties, and he's trying to explain it to me. And I'm just looking at what this glazed over look, because I don't do safeties very well. If it's got 1, we're good. Flip it, push it.
Yeah.
Push it on, push it off. I'm fine. This one had like double safeties, and it had a grip. Like you had to grip it a specific way in order for there to be enough pressure to be able to pull the trigger. It's safe as fuck.
Yeah.
I shot it, and it went boom. And I put it down, and I walked away because I thought it was the rifles next to us that were making that noise. And Tip City friend his friend said, I might not shoot somebody with it, but I figure I can scare the fuck out of them. I was like, yeah, I can see that. It scared the shit out of me. And I was the one shooting it.
Oh my God.
I don't want to. But no, my husband is very low pressure. And if you want to, just to be familiar with it, it's I'm afraid of motorcycles, but I feel like if I learned how to drive one, I would be a little less afraid of them.
Yeah. I feel like I wouldn't mind learning how to properly shoot one at some point, just to know how to use the one that currently resides in my house.
Do you want to go to a ladies class with me?
Oh, I can do that.
Go to a ladies class.
But that's the thing. I've had people that are like, oh, you need to get your CCW. And I'm like, there is no condition ever that I ever want to carry a gun around with me.
Not to mention, my husband has mentioned several times, he was like, if you want to take that 22 and open carry, you're allowed to in Ohio. He was like, you don't need to have a CCW. The only reason he thought that me getting a CCW, which I do not have, would be a good idea is because if we do go shooting, he has to make sure that everything is completely emptied and separate because I'm not allowed, like if we stop for gas,
you're not allowed to have
I'm not allowed to be in the car. So like I would have to get out and fucking walk away.
Right.
So I'm not allowed to have access to it, which is smart.
Yeah.
I've just never gotten my CCW. Now like classes are online and then you have to go like show that you know how to shoot. Yeah. It's not like in the military where I had to take the fucking gun apart so that I could put it back together and then go shoot it.
Well, and that's kind of funny to me, the fact that like you were in the military, like we're trained on how to take apart a gun, put it back together, go shoot a gun, and yet you still have to go through a process.
There's no training. There's no training. Let me educate you. When you were in basic training, you have to shoot the gun. You get 6 hours, probably 6 hours of training on how to shoot an M16. And the majority of that is on how to take it apart and how not to shoot somebody else.
Oh, wow.
So you have to qualify, which means that you have to get so many shots on target.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's one target and you have to do it on your belly, kneeling, standing, and one other position. But you don't have a number of shots that you have to get per position. So it's not like 4 shots, 4 shots, 4 shots, 4 shots.
Yeah.
Where they're changing the target constantly. It is one target and you have to get, I think it was 16 at the time, maybe 20. I got like 26, 35 as a marksman.
Yeah.
We had 40 shots.
Oh, wow.
So I legitimately, I'm pretty sure I got like a 16 or a 20. It was, I qualified.
Right.
I qualified. Cause I think at a minimum you have to get, I think 16 was the minimum, maybe 12. But I qualified.
Yeah.
But I will never pick up I was a mental health technician. I will never pick up an arm again unless my hospital is being invaded, because by Geneva Convention, the hospitals, the only people who could defend a hospital are the people who work in the hospital. Like the MPs leave their weapons out, like they check their weapons before they come in.
Really?
Yeah. So you can't, I forget what the terminology is because I've been drinking beer, but if the MPs were carrying weapons in, or the LEs is what they are in the Air Force, if the LEs were carrying weapons into the hospital, it then can it turns the hospital into a target.
Okay.
But if you're in the hospital and you're a hospital worker and you're defending the hospital, number one, people shouldn't be firing on the hospital.
Right.
And number two, it's a defensive position. So there's a lot of things that like negate that. Now you do have to qualify, I think every 4 years if you are like in a non-combat position. I was really good friends with the guy. Bless his heart. He was testifying for my fiance at the time. And they asked him to fill out this affidavit, and they asked him what his job was. Instead of putting a small firearms expert, he listed every goddamn gun he's an expert at shooting, because he is a marksman at all of them. Yeah. Which should terrify the fuck out of you guys, because he was also an alcoholic. Motherfucker could drink all day and all night, show up at 7:00 the next morning and shoot way better than the LEs that were coming in, to the law enforcement officers that were coming in to do it. Yeah. Because he was used to it. Yeah. So he's like naming all this shit, and the attorney's like, this would suffice. So, I mean, he has to do things. The cops have to do things. The people who are combatants have to do things. If you're working in a hospital, you don't have to do any of the things. Once every 4 years, I think I had to qualify. I didn't make it that far. I got out on medical. So
yeah,
it is what it is. But yeah, if you ever want to do it, and it would just be me, you, and my husband.
I'm definitely open to doing like going to a gun range and like learning how to use some things. Like hell, last week was not expecting this, but my dad just purchased a bunch and he just got a safe installed in his house and everything else. Everything's locked up, but he went to a shooting range. And
I didn't know they had to bolt them to the floor to be proper.
Oh.
But ours is bolted to the floor. And apparently, even if it wasn't, fuck you for trying to move it. Because
oh, yeah.
They make a whole, like, people have a whole job to move and reinstall safes.
Oh, no, that's the thing. He bought it at a store and then he had to contact somebody else that was like a third party person to have them deliver it and install it into wherever he got it put.
It's a bomb shelter that you cannot get into.
Oh, no, and it's got like numbers and finger things and all kinds of shit. And I'm like, all right, well, at least I know everything's secure. But I helped him. He went to a shooting range. And so he put out this little mat on the table. And I was sitting there and he was like, hey, I need help. I got to clean these things before I put them away. So like he busted everything out, tore everything. So I sat there and tore apart 2 guns and cleaned them in the insides and everything else. And he was cleaning the barrels while I was cleaning the, all the rest of it.
When you're target shooting, it's a little different because then it becomes a lot like darts.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about what you're using so much as about what your target is and if you're hitting it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be hitting a person. Actually, for you, I would just put up a bullseye as opposed to a person outline.
Yeah, the person outline thing freaks me out a little bit. I'm not gonna
lie. And I understand that. For me, I'm past that, but I'm not saying that you will ever pass that.
Yeah.
But it's more sporting if it's a target. And I enjoy it. He and I don't do it enough. It's fucking tiring as shit. Like after maybe 3 or 4 magazines, I'm done. I can't.
Well, that's the thing. When I was helping my dad clean, and I think he had just 2 pistols out that we were cleaning. And I couldn't even tell you what they were. I want to say one was a 9mm and one was a 22.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But those are probably, those
one
are
was
like,
a little smaller than the other.
Right.
But like I was cleaning the part, like the handle and everything else. Didn't have a magazine in it because everything was torn apart. And he was cleaning the barrels. And I was like, oh, these are actually fairly light and whatever. But then once we put them back together, I held one and I was like, this is heavier than shit.
Yeah.
He was like, well, yeah, the barrel's completely metal, but it's like a composite material, the rest of it. And I'm like, well, once you put the barrel back in it, I'm like, I couldn't hold this for very long.
So here's, in all honesty, let's just think about this. You don't want to use it on a person. That's fine. Mm-hmm. However, if you're good enough at shooting it for like 10 or 15, whatever the magazine limit is in your state, if you're good enough at shooting it, and it does get tiring.
Yeah.
But if you can shoot it repeatedly and be a very good marksman at it, you should not have to shoot it very frequently in your house.
Yeah.
If you do have to shoot somebody, you should just be able to be pretty good at like 1 or 2. Which is why I say I would not. I am not, because of, we've talked about this. I have a hard time with police going for center mass every time.
Yeah.
Specifically if you're running the fuck away.
Right.
So sorry to the dumb cunt that thought that she was shooting her taser, and she shot him with her gun. And I'm like, they're different.
Yeah.
The weight is different.
Yeah.
They're on the opposite side of your shooting hand.
Yeah.
So it's the opposite side of your dominant hand. I have no concept about what the fuck that is. If you're that scared, don't be a cop. So I have this relationship with weapons that is conflicted.
Yeah.
I don't think that I would go for center mass. I would go for just stopping you. Yeah. And I would hope to God not to shoot femoral artery, but like your shins and your ankles are in play. Maybe your kneecap. They're a smaller target. But I feel like center mass is so much more dangerous, and I'm not going for your head or anything like that. Yeah. Now, if you're coming in at me with like a knife, a gun, something where like it's you or me, then I'm just the biggest part of the body is center mass. So you just shoot and hope you get it. There was a God, there was a movie in the 80s where this woman shot this guy in the chest and like killed him. And he was like, honey, like, I appreciate you doing that, but like, we needed to question him, and it would have been nice if we would just shot him in the leg. And she was like, I was aiming for his leg. I feel like that's me. Like, there is that, but just taking a sporting stance on it. And I'm not trying to talk you into it, but if you ever wanted to take a sporting stance on it and just like, target.
I enjoy like target practice because, like I said with the BB gun, like, having to load one bullet at a time. I didn't mind doing that, and I enjoyed doing that just because it was like the aiming and the trying to get like.
My husband can give you a weapon a firearm that you just load one at a time. They're very big though.
Yeah. So if I accidentally like shot the ceiling, I would blow a hole in it.
You aren't allowed to use it indoors, so don't shoot up.
Yeah.
What goes up must come down.
Right. Yeah. The entire second floor office would come crashing through.
Yeah. So those are outdoor toys only.
Yeah.
No.
So like, I like the BB gun, and I will say like, so since I met my partner, he was really big into archery when he was younger.
Yeah.
And so
I love a crossbow.
Well, we went to Renfest, and so we did the archery there, but I really loved it. And I would
we should all go throw axes.
Oh, I love throwing axes. That's fun too. I did that at Renfest, and then we went to one of those places they have now.
Yeah.
And actually, I think we still have a birthday coupon from him for something to go throw axes. So we should do that. We should
go throw axes.
Yeah. So we should go do that.
I think that should be fun. I'm not Jason Momoa good, but I think that, I got a chance.
I did better at Renfest than I did at the axe throwing places. And I will say it's because the axes at Renfest are a little bit smaller and you can throw them with one hand.
Oh, so they're like hatchets or tomahawks.
Yeah. Whereas the ones in these axes are big ass
fucking axes.
Yeah. And those I have to use two hands, and it's just a whole. Oof.
Yeah. Apparently it's all about form, and I'm not sure that I have that form, but I would love to. Also, I broke one shoulder picking up dog shit and injured the other one in the exact same dog shit incident. So my shoulders don't do what they're supposed to do without a lot of clicking and snapping. And sometimes there's a tendon out of place, and like that arm just doesn't move anymore. So I'm kind of terrified for all of us.
Oh man.
If we go do that.
That'll be fun though.
It will be fun. Talk to you. She's drinking Imperial Twisted Milk Coffee Stout from Star City Brewing Company. Star City Brewing Company does not, they don't endorse our podcast.
We drink here a lot. And Mindy is having some Building 26, which is a French farmhouse ale. It's a beer de garde.
It's a 7.5% beer.
Yeah. I think mine's 11.
Plus I pregame at home with some Four Roses, which is always...
I only had one coffee stout before you. It was only 4.9.
Oh, there you go.
So it wasn't too much, but I did have a Building 26, and now I'm on to the 11% stuff.
I'm not doing things. I'm not watching things.
Well, I
don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm playing games on my phone.
Oh, I play Dr. Mario on my phone obsessively, and I think I've spent...
I play solitaire for money.
I think I have probably spent $100 on Dr. Mario at this point. Like,
I won't tell.
I'm not saying like, in a short-term period.
This is just between all of us.
Yes. I'm saying over the course, because you run out of lives, and then they have this like little like heart pack thing where it's like you get 30 minutes of unlimited lives for $3 plus extra diamonds and things that you can buy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that. They keep track of it though.
So are you on an Android?
I am.
Okay, so you can get do you have the survey app?
No.
There's a survey app where you can earn Google money.
Ooh, Google Play money?
Yes.
I like it.
So it's called Rewards. So if you go out to your phone and look for rewards.
Okay.
I'm like, I have 838 in Google monies.
I need that. Because I clearly like to buy lives when I'm bored and sitting in front of the TV and I want to play games more.
Yeah, I get that. I get that a lot.
Well, when it's only $3 at a time, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, I'll pay $3.
Oh, girl, I don't even want to say, because he listens to this, about how much I've spent just trying to maintain $20 in the solitaire games that I'm in. I mean, I might have a gambling issue without having a gambling issue. So,
have you ever been down to the horse races down in Miami Valley?
He and I. So we went to see a comedian, Ralph Harris, and they gave us $5 vouchers.
Yep.
And dinner.
Nice.
I mean, it was dinner and $5 voucher. It's weird to see a comedian there. Go to a fucking comedy club. Don't go to a casino. I mean, go to a casino if it's somebody you want to support. Like we wanted to support Ralph. Ralph is very close to his fan base. Mm-hmm. And I went up and was like, I'm Mindy in Progress. And he was like, yay, I know who you are. I was like, yay. But it was weird. And then I don't like slot machines, but we spent our $5 vouchers on slot machines. And then I think we got like $20 more each and did it. And we walked out with nothing.
So I'm real bad with casinos because my favorite game is roulette, which is also the worst.
It's fucking difficult.
Well, it's not that it's difficult so much as that it is literally the worst game to play in a casino because it's like the worst game as far as the odds of winning.
Right.
So, like, you're guaranteed not to win most of the time.
Because there's, like, what? How many numbers? And then you have to, like...
Yeah, it's in the 40s or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, so I have a number I like to play, but also I do black and red. So, like, if I start playing roulette, it's been a bad night. But my mom has taught me one very good thing. Because she loves casinos, but she always has a rule.
It's just the one thing.
Well... Okay, she's taught me a few things, but this is like the casino rule is when you go into the casino, like we like to play the slot machines. She has $20. You take $20 and you play slot machines with $20, but once 20 is gone, you're done.
Right.
So like,
I do the opposite. So kind of the opposite. I play with the 20, whatever money I bring in to play with, because don't gamble more than you can afford to lose.
Right.
Whatever money I bring in, when it gets to the point where it's the money that I brought in, I cash out that ticket and then I play with the rest of the actual money that I have.
Oh, nice.
So that I'm guaranteed, like if I take in 100, I'm guaranteed $100 on the way out.
Yeah.
And we'll just play with the rest of it. But
that's if you get up though. If you never get up, then you're screwed.
I had $20 and played a nickel machine at the riverboat.
Yeah.
And hit 1,700 nickels and had no idea what that was cash value. So I got like $385, gave $20 back to my grandma and went and sat at the bar.
Nice. So my mom always wins. Like she's like
lucky as fuck.
Yeah, she's lucky as fuck when it comes to lottery tickets and like that kind of stuff. I'm actually surprised she hasn't won like a huge grand prize or anything like that. And it's not like she wins massive jackpots or anything, but like she'll win. She won $1,000 one time, I think, when we were in Vegas on a slot machine. And it was on our last day and we only had like $3 left. It was like we went out there when I was little and me, my mom and my sister, and it was us. And my sister was very big budgeting.
When you were little, you're not allowed on the casino floor.
No. But we stayed at Circus and there is a bar that you stand behind so that you're not on, So I've
been to the one in Reno.
Yeah. So mom would go over and play a slot machine. Me and my sister would stay on the other side of the bars. Like, we're not on the floor. It's good. But so my sister was budgeting every day. Like my mom was like, all right, here's how much money we have for the 4 days we're here. And my sister was like, okay, we've got this much money for each day. We made it to the last day and we each had $3 left. And the buffet in the morning was $2.99 for the breakfast buffet. And so my mom in the morning's like, I want to go play a slot machine. And I was like, here, take my $3. And my sister's like, I'm keeping my $3 for my buffet. And so I gave my mom my $3. And so she had $6. She went on the casino floor and she put in $2 into a dollar machine or whatever.
Right.
And the max was $3 and she hit the jackpot.
Nice.
But because she didn't put in the $3, she didn't get it.
Right.
And some lady started screaming at her.
Oh, because she fucked it up.
Because she fucked it up and didn't put in the whole $3.
Yeah, that's what happens. We've talked about blackjack before. Yeah. That's why.
Yeah.
I don't like to play blackjack because I don't want to fuck somebody else up.
Right. You don't want to fuck it up.
It's a game that you can fuck up.
Yeah. So my mom was like, oh, this lady's just bitching at me. So she went over like across to another machine, put in $3 so that she put in the max, won $1,000. Nice. So then she took me and my sister to the Mirage for the fancy buffet breakfast. Nice. And that's how we finished our thing.
You got waffles instead of pancakes.
Oh, yeah. It was like, they had some crab legs and shit on there for breakfast. Oh, yeah. They had all the shit.
Jesus.
Like, this was back in the early 90s.
So crab legs were so in.
I mean, it was anything and everything that you could possibly want. It was breakfast, lunch, dinner, like the whole shebang.
Now I want to order food. I didn't eat before I came, so.
Oh, well, then we should probably get out of here. All right. So, thank you all for listening to us. It's lovely to have you.
We appreciate you. I forgot to ask for anybody who listens to us, but I know Judy, Jen, Leo, Adam better have fucking listened by now.
Lisa, Laura, Christy, Andrew,
Kat. Patty.
Ada.
Maddie. Yeah, so that's all I can think of.
If we missed you, we're sorry. It's later in the evening and we've been drinking. But if you guys want to follow us, please log on to Instagram or Twitter. You can find us at DBBL_podcast on Facebook or YouTube. It's just DBBL space podcast. Or you can head to our website, dbblpodcast.com or drunkbitchesbelike.com. Like, subscribe, let us know that you're out there. Send us a note. If you go to our website, you can go ahead and sign up for our newsletter. It is not a newsletter. It is a email that I will send you whenever we have a new episode drop. So you'll get a nice little email going, hey, we have a new episode. Go download it. So you can find us in all those places.
I promise to try and post more, but I'm just going to break that promise here. Here now, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to break that promise.
I mean, we're drunk bitches. Do you expect anything else?
I have no idea. I need you guys to interact, though. What do you guys want to talk about? What do you want to hear about? Otherwise, we're just going to keep talking about the shit that we talk about, which is maybe why you tune in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think in the upcoming weeks, we have some more heavy stuff to talk about, things that we've been seeing. Brandy showed me a story from the NFL, and I'm just not prepared to go off on that. But yeah. Christ almighty.
I was about to say your head exploded, but then I felt like that was in poor taste.
Yeah. My God. I shouldn't be laughing at that. But no, we appreciate all of you. We value you. You don't necessarily have to interact, but it'd be really cool because otherwise I'm just talking into the void. Kind of like we do for the podcast. And we enjoy you. Please share us with your friends, your family, your enemies. We don't really care. We're good with all of it. Download us and don't listen to us. Like us. Give us stars.
Although just
give us a thumbs up.
Like listen to it. Not listen to it. Play it. You don't have to listen to it. Just play it in the background somewhere and let somebody else listen. Let your dog or cat.
Yeah.
They need entertainment while you're gone at work during the day.
We're on Amazon Music. Just fucking play us.
Play it on Alexa while you're at work and let your dog listen to it. And then, we get advertising things.
There you go. If you are a business who wants us to come record at your establishment,
or somebody who owns a business and you want us to go to their establishment.
We are open to that. It's free advertising for all the people who listen to this. We did go over 300 downloads in just 7 episodes. Woo-hoo! We are super excited. We know it's not a big deal to some other people who get like really big numbers, but we can't do it without you. And we are super happy for all of your support. And that's all I have to say. So.
And everybody has totally turned us off by now because we've been saying goodbye. So love you all.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Shit. No.
Actually, I need to take off this mask thing. Actually, no. It feels good around my neck. It's nice and warm.
Oh, Christ.
I came up earlier. It was hot. Now I'm cold.
I want to start with the nipple lights.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I've installed lights before. I can do that.
I like the flat round ones.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Now I've blinded myself because
you've looked at it and now there's lines.
And too. I think it's an LED in there.
Yeah, probably.
So I'm just. I insist that this episode be called. So what else was happening in fucking Portland?
Oh yeah. God damn it! Am I doing it again?
Yeah, suck. Good job. It's level. It looks like liquid chocolate.
Sit for a minute. But I need to find the page. Give me a hot second.
I mean, this is just all you editing shit.
Nope. Yep. Nope. Okay. There we go. Yeah.
There you go.
All right.